Ozzy Osbourne has passed away, leaving the world to wonder, how did he survive decades of alcohol, drugs, and chaos? Researchers finally sequenced his DNA years before his death, and what they found stunned them. One scientist whispered, "This is impossible." Hidden in Ozzy's genome were clues to his resilience, energy, addictions, and even fragments of ancient ancestry that set him apart from most modern humans. When his blood hit the lab table, scientists at Cofactor Genomics expected routine results. Instead, his DNA defied explanation. Mutations in genes tied to metabolism, dopamine, and nerve communication were unlike anything seen in humans before. His body seemed almost engineered to endure extremes. Even stranger, a region on chromosome 10 revealed Neanderthal ancestry, real ancient DNA. Suddenly, the man who survived overdoses, crashes, and decades on tour seemed to carry something primal in his genes. His genome wasn't just a curiosity, it was a window into how the human body adapts. Variants in genes like ADH4 allowed him to process alcohol unusually well, while others in CLTCL1 affected nerve communication, impulse control, and creativity. His brain, it seemed, was wired for both brilliance and chaos. Ozzy Osbourne's DNA turned the legend into something stranger and more human than anyone expected. Ozzy's DNA explained why, despite decades of substance abuse and advancing age, he retained immense energy and creativity. It also offered clues to his attraction to behaviors that amplified dopamine, high-risk, high-reward pursuits. For Ozzy, that drive fueled not just addiction, but fame, performance, and an unrelenting desire to keep going. When researchers shared the results with him, he was deeply engaged. "Given the swimming pools of booze I've guzzled, there's no plausible medical reason why I should still be alive," he wrote in the Sunday Times. Maybe my DNA could explain it? To a surprising degree, it did. His genes for cell repair and detoxification were unusually active, suggesting his body could repair damage before it became fatal. He wasn't invincible, but his biology gave him a rare resilience. Scientists emphasized that DNA wasn't the whole story. Lifestyle, luck, and environment all mattered, but his genome contained unusual advantages. The findings also raised philosophical questions. If genes influence addiction, creativity, and risk-taking, where does personal responsibility end? Genetics can tilt the odds, researchers said, but they don't decide destiny. Human willpower and experience remain stronger forces. Yet Ozzy's genome offered a rare glimpse at how biology shapes personality. His energy, volatility, and magnetic presence all reflected the interplay of genes and character. Perhaps most fascinating, however, was what DNA could not explain. There was no single rock star gene for his genius or madness, just a complex network of interacting traits. And hidden within that network was something stranger, a connection to his ancient ancestry, dating back tens of thousands of years. When tracing Ozzy's ancestry, scientists expected a straightforward European heritage. Instead, on chromosome 10, they found a fragment of DNA that didn't belong to modern humans at all. It came from Neanderthals. At first, they suspected an error, but repeated checks confirmed it. Ozzy Osbourne, one of rock's wildest figures, carried the unmistakable genetic fingerprints of an extinct human species. Many people of European and Asian descent have 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA, but in Ozzy's case, the discovery felt almost poetic, a genetic echo of the primal energy that had fueled his extraordinary life. A man who survived decades of extremes turned out to carry a literal trace of prehistoric toughness in his blood. One researcher joked that Ozzy's body might still be running on Stone Age software. Though a quip, it hinted at a real possibility. Certain Neanderthal genes influence pain tolerance, metabolism, and immune response, traits that helped a species endure harsh winters, scarce food, and constant danger. Some of these genes remain active in modern humans, and in Ozzy, they may have helped him survive his own extreme lifestyle. The chaotic Prince of Darkness, it seemed, was also a product of evolutionary endurance. The media ran wild. Part caveman, part rock star. Ozzy laughed. "I always knew I wasn't completely human," he said. Beneath the humor was something profound, a bridge between ancient survival and modern resilience. Evolution, quietly embedded in our DNA, had preserved fragments of those who came before, and in Ozzy, they had found a stage. Scientists wondered whether these ancient genes could even influence creativity. Music is primal, as essential as fire, and could Ozzy's instincts as a musician have been shaped by echoes of an older species? It's unprovable, but the idea captured imaginations. Suddenly, genetics wasn't just academic, it was pop culture, and Ozzy became its unlikely ambassador. Nathan Pearson of Gnome explained, "Some Neanderthal DNA lives on in us. Ozzy's just happened to stand out." His genome wasn't an anomaly. It was a mosaic of ancient survival and modern adaptations, reflecting endurance honed over millennia. His DNA also helped explain his survival through decades of substance abuse. A variant near ADH4 let his liver process alcohol unusually efficiently, while mutations affecting dopamine regulation fueled motivation, pleasure, and addiction. As Pearson noted, his brain was wired for intensity. These genetic quirks drove both his extremes and his artistry, shaping risk-taking, creativity, and the magnetic chaos that defined the Prince of Darkness. On stage, fans witnessed biology in motion, unpredictable, chaotic, yet compelling. Scientists stressed DNA isn't destiny. Environment, experience, and choice all matter. But Ozzy's genome told the story of a man built to endure. Could musical talent be influenced by genetics? While there's no single music gene, Ozzy carried variants affecting neural communication and rhythm perception, including a CLTCL1 gene variant that may have enhanced coordination and timing. As he joked, "Maybe I'm an experiment of evolution," and he wasn't entirely wrong. His body survived decades of abuse, his mind thrived under pressure, and his DNA became a case study in resilience. Fans saw that his survival wasn't luck. Every cell carried traces of endurance, addiction, and creativity, a living record of a life lived on the edge. Scientists found that some of his genetic variants overlapped with those of long-lived individuals, influencing cell repair, detoxification, and stress regulation. These adaptive outliers can survive extremes most people cannot. His liver, brain, and repair systems worked together like a finely tuned network, showing how traits can prolong life and adapt to extreme stress. Ozzy remained humble. "I'm not indestructible. I just got lucky with my genes." Yet his genome revealed a broader truth. Human survival relies on variation, a balance of strength and vulnerability, shaping how we endure. His life reminded the world that evolution continues inside us, silently guiding resilience and adaptation. In his case, it sang through him in every note, scream, and impossible heartbeat. If one man's DNA can reveal traces of Neanderthal ancestry and explain survival against all odds, what might your own genome be hiding?